There we go. That's better. Let me moisturize. I washed my face. This is what I look like when I'm tired and still needing rest. But I gotta get things done. So Destiny is up taking her medicine. She's sleeping. I have to call the surgeon because they forgot to give Destiny a note for school. They forgot to give her a note for PE class. And I'm definitely not happy with that, considering the fact how they kept pushing back her surgery time. And we'll get into that in a bit. So this is for anyone who's considering or needs any information or just wants to know about the VNS therapy. That's the name of the product, VNS therapy. So before you or a loved one goes for it, here is my tips to help you from my personal experience. For one, with a lot of Destiny's seizures, she can't remember before, during, after. Like one time recently, she remembered having it, which was a shocker because she normally doesn't remember nothing, but she did not have a grand mal. So when it's asking her, what happened? Like, could you tell anything? Was there something different about that time? How don't you know? And people are forgetting that people with epilepsy tend to forget. And it's not their fault. Some of them don't even know or remember that they ever had one. That is Destiny's case. So I've always made sure I was there, one of her sisters that could actually explain what happened. So, I'm just making sure it's all rubbed in. I need to stop playing with my face. So the reason why we got it is because medicine did not help her. Destiny's body is so sensitive to medicine, and not just the huge sensitivity she is to medication, picking up side effects. It would not work out for her body after a while. And statistics say after, hey, good morning, Emily, after the first medication switch with a person having epilepsy, their chance of finding the right medication reduces each medication switch. Second medication switch, Destiny was already on 2 different ones. Lamotrigine, if I remember it correctly, and clombazam. Clombazam, I was not that fond of. I'm still not fond of it. Simple fact, a controlled substance, and I do not want my daughter getting hooked on that and any other aftermath from it. So the Lamotrigine, which was like the biggest dosage, was at the max dosage, didn't work for Destiny, and she had to come off it for several. Well, no, there was another one. Before Lamotrigine, the first one didn't work. Here's why the first one didn't work. Severe emotion, anger, sadness, depression. Let's just say it caused pre-mental health symptoms. It also, Destiny went from a nice golden brown to Casper the Friendly Ghost White. Her behavior and her attitude when we were going to Auntie Yora, done a 360 in under a month in a very concerning way. Then the not eating. Like, it would really hurt her stomach so bad to where she couldn't eat, and she was like maybe taking 2-3 bites. So she was losing all this weight. This is before I even went to Boston's Children's Hospital that's in Hawthorne. I went to this jerk named Dr. Castaneda in Poughkeepsie. Biggest mistake of my life. Not only did it take the nurses during the COVID lockdown 6 months to damn near a year to get a hold of them, it took the emergency room to get on this doctor's butt to actually, hey, you're a licensed neurologist, do your damn job. But then it took me screaming at him at the doctor's office, telling him, you're going to take my daughter off this medication, or I'm going to take it away from her. Because me and the school had very serious concerns. This is the problem when you're not finding, 1, the right neurologist, 2, the wrong medication. Now, Destiny has not been on medication like that. The most she's taken was an Advil or ibuprofen for a headache. So me finding out Destiny is sensitive to medicine has been the 4 years that she's had seizures, that she's had epilepsy. 4 years. That's when we found out she picked up the whole sensitivity to medication that I have. Like, my body rejects a lot of medicine. Trust me, Grandma learned that. I found out that the hard way because when Grandma passed away, I didn't know she knew that, so I found out the hard way. Now, getting on to the VNS therapy, then Destiny goes on Lamotrigine, some generic brand. It was cheaper than whatever else they had. And then on top of it, they gave her the clombazam, which is supposed to be a mood booster. Happy, friendly, peaceful, cheery, which I was okay with. I don't know if that was to counteract the Lamotrigine, but the second one was given. The Lamotrigine stopped working. Now, Destiny goes on zonisamide, or some weird pill that starts with Z, and clombazam. Now, in clombazam, she's at the max dose. With the pill that starts with Z, she's at the max dose. She cannot go any higher. And if anyone sees this in the future, for the emergency medication, my daughter takes Valtoco. March of 2025, as I'm coming out of my English class early and done for the day at the college I go to and tend to for classes at night, I find out through my daughter, who was 15, about to turn 16, that Destiny had a seizure, but she's fine. She gave the emergency medication around, I think, 8:30 at night. I get home 9:30, check on Destiny, she's fine. 12:30 comes along, Destiny had a seizure. I was about ready to give her the Valtoco. I'm like, crap, she just had it at 8:30. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is a split second, not a long decision. I guess in a split second to 3 seconds, a billion things already ran through my head. That's me and my brain. That's how my brain works. And I'm thinking fast. I'm like, damn, I'm going to call 911 because she was already given to her. That was supposed to work for the whole entire 24 hours. Not this time. Normally, yes, but not this time. And I'm like, oh my God. gosh, what the heck? As a parent, and that medication can cost up to almost $2,000 for Valtoco, especially if your medical coverage doesn't decide one day that, oh, we're not going to cover it. I found out the hard way. Luckily, I had money saved aside. No, that was my rent money. My bad. But didn't matter. My daughter's emergency medicine was more important than my rent money. I was late on my rent by 2 weeks because I got paid bi-weekly. It was whatever. Didn't care. So going through that, her appetite goes from amazing, not even an issue. She goes from being a healthy 120 pounds, gaining healthy weight, to struggling for her to eat. The food upsets her stomach. Like, we went through a lot. Then we find out her epilepsy is drug resistant. We went through epilepsy awareness thing where, if a person's epilepsy is drug resistant, they only have a certain amount of years they end up living. And if a person doesn't wake up in their sleep and they pass away, they're automatically assumed to pass away due to seizures if they're epileptic, which in my case, my daughter is. Now, each time my daughter has a seizure, she was just shaking. Then I'm noticing that she's starting to turn blue. This was last year. The first episode was of her turning blue. I want to say it was June of 2024, so last year when I was still living in Pearling, and I noticed that. Then July happens. We're at this church gathering for my friend and her beautiful family that I absolutely love, and they all notice the same thing that I'm seeing. And my friend is seeing me like calmly falling apart, but she knows I'm not okay. No one else is picking up on this. That's why I love you to pieces. And she's asking me how I'm doing. Then my daughters are seeing, okay, this is when we need to ask mom how she's feeling, because it looks like I'm fine, but in my head I'm like, oh my God, her lips are turning even more bluer than last time. And then March of this year, it wasn't just her face, any visible skin that was showing for Destiny, her whole body was blue. Now, third medication switch, the niacinamide does not work, and a lot of the pills tend to mess with the person's emotions and feelings, sometimes kidneys and liver. And the kidneys and liver, anything messing with my daughter's kidney and liver, that's an automatic no. Doctors already know. Like, we are not suggesting, or we're not going to sit here and attempt to try. If I'm telling you my daughter's sensitive to medicine, we're not testing her liver. We're damn sure not practicing on her kidneys to find out. Because once that starts to fail, you're not like restarting from the beginning. It's going to continue to fail, and you're not going to start that. We already established it with the new doctor. So January this year comes, is to talk about the VNS therapy. That's what the name of the product is. So in my head, I'm like, damn, I don't want to cut my baby up. Like, I'm going to be so messed up because it's going to be me, the only adult there, with no physical, emotional support. But I'm like, I've never had that, so we got this. But I'm like, man, I need to do my research before I can give my answer as a parent. Because some of the other stuff that they have, their percentage of my daughter coming alive out of the operating table was not the highest. And the only thing that had the highest success rate was the VNS therapy. That was brought to our attention. And this was after Destiny's, I think, before Destiny's emergency medication. Yeah, it was before Destiny's emergency medication stopped working accurately. Now, for the Valtoco, the most you can give is twice. Now, March of this year, I had no idea because no doctor told me. Like, if it doesn't work this first time around, you can give an additional second dose. I instantly called 911 because what the hell am I going to do? Because Destiny could have a seizure for 5 minutes to an hour with the grand mal, but that's how bad she gets it, and she can get multiple in one shot. So I had to do my research, and finding any information from patients that went through this was not the easiest. It was extremely hard to find any information. Like, I had a representative call me, but for representatives, you're just going to sell the product. I want to know, as a mom who has a daughter that does not remember her seizures, I want to know the pros and cons of your product that I'm going to have inserted into my daughter. Now, left side. So on the left side of Destiny's neck, right around this area, it's taped up because there is, they cut her neck to insert a wire. And right here to here is covered. And I think right here, they inserted the VNS therapy machine, like little tiny thing. I'll show you that in a minute. So she's sore. Now, here's the things you need to do and remind the staff. If you're going to have a pre-surgery meeting, they're not going to tell not one darn doctor. They're not going to have it on the file. And if they do, they must have not seen it or read it. You need to make sure and be specific about your child's needs and sensitivity. For Destiny, she cannot skip meals. Skipping meals, her body drops in everything. In seconds, minutes, she can't skip meals. That's actually kicked in 10 seizures in one day. We found out at the Health Alliance in Kingston's Hospital when the woman that draws the blood was drawing her blood. Destiny started having a seizure. Yep, the worst time I could think she could have a grand mal. Well, it was one of her minor ones where her body's just twitching and shaking. Minor. And I'm like, oh my God, this could end up being a grand mal. And that's the worst time to have a grand mal is when you're having a needle in your arm. But don't worry, that actually happened to Destiny at Albany Med the last time she was there at the pediatric ER. I had to scream for help because no one showed me how to drop the bars. All I know is there's a needle in my daughter's arm. The nurse just got drawing a second batch of blood, and I'm having a hard time with my 5'1" self as a Filipino woman. I did not get height. I'm short as hell. So I can't reach over and restrain her and hold her down so she's not going to tear up her arm. That's another horrible factor that I've had to go through and witness as a mom, but my daughter don't remember. So you need to be specific, and please do not lie to the doctors to get in there sooner, because you seriously ruin it for people like my daughter. So my daughter cannot skip meals. And that was so irritating and so disheartening, because it's like, oh my gosh, if she has a seizure, like, they're going to have to give her something, then the seizure, like, then we're going to have to wait on the procedure. Now, Destiny was supposed to be at 9:30. We got there at 9:22. Traffic was ridiculous, and I hate the Taconic State Parkway. Like, I had to lay on my horn, because not one but two idiots came close to hitting us, and I could see in front of me. And it's the problem with a lot of you speeders at the Taconic State Parkway. And I don't know where the hell the state troopers are, but I feel maybe you need to start having cameras there and just start tagging people, because if you're in a Suburban, if you're in an SUV, you're in a higher seating position than a person in a van in a car. And if you're looking straight ahead, how do you not see 100 plus cars in front of us and they're all stopped? I'm assuming it's drugs. You're doing something illegal. That's messing with your mind, because that happens several times. And as a driver, as a professional driver, and acing my PNS endorsements, those are the two first endorsements I passed with flying colors with my PNS endorsements for my Class B CDL. So even if I'm not driving a bus, I'm still driving as if I'm driving a big bus. Like, I'm always looking everywhere and like to make sure we're not about to get hit. So I'm laying on the horn, because we almost got hit not once but twice. And 100 plus cars are stopped in front of us on the Taconic State Parkway. There's some type of road work being done. Now, I'm crunched for time because I'm trying to hurry Destiny along, but with the being so heavily medicated, everything, like, it really makes her a lot slower to talk and move, because it makes her so groggy. The other pill makes her high, and I hate that. Like, I don't like all that crap in my daughter, and it's not working, so it's frustrating. So whatever your child's or adult loved one's sensitivity is to it, you need to let the doctors know. I get it. You're going to have that whole conversation with them during your pre-surgery meeting. Yep, I had that. And I remember the words where we want to get all the small kids out first because they get a lot more crankier. And I said, I get that, but you also need to keep in reminder and have it in the file where the doctors can see this. Destiny cannot skip meals. Her body does not do the greatest. Let me tell you, they found out the hard way. I said, and Destiny can have seizures. Well, she takes meds, she'll be fine. That's why we're doing this procedure, because she's on her third medication switch. There is no other medicine for her. And she's extremely sensitive to medicine and picks up the side effects. That is so disheartening to hear and so frustrating. So yes, I had a stank attitude, because here it is, 1 o'clock. My daughter's not in. Now, 12:30, 12:50, the anesthesiologist comes in, because I'm rude as hell, and I'm even loud about it in the waiting room, because I had to use the bathroom in the waiting room, because I could not hold it any longer. But I was so scared Destiny was going to have a seizure, because the last time she ate was like 10, 11 o'clock at night, the night before. She had nothing in her body. And it was frustrating, because they were like, oh, she had her medicine. I said, did you realize the reason why she's having this is because the medication is not working for her? She is on her third medication switch. So you have to remind the anesthesiologist. You're going to have to remind the representative of the company about this, and you're gonna have to remind the nurse, the other nurse that comes in. You have about 2-3 nurses coming and checking in on your loved one. You're gonna have to remind them of their sensitivity, because I had to sit there and say, because, oh, well, we had other patients. I said, yep. I said, but now my daughter hasn't eaten since 10, 11 o'clock at night. Now we're gonna have to worry about her having a seizure at any moment. I said, because she could have one seizure. She could have multiple seizures. I said, shoot. I said, well, I said, no, she had one seizure, or she could have seizures back to back. I said, she could have all her seizures in one shot. I said, now we're going to worry about her having them on the operating table, like when she's in the operating room. I said, my daughter's and Destiny, like, her body's changed as the months goes on, because Destiny struggled to move. She struggled to talk. Thank God she was sleeping, because I was afraid she had any type of activity, even just moving to shift her body or move her hands. I was so scared it was going to trigger a seizure. That's why I was so mad at the place, because Destiny did not get into the surgery until 1:51. They gave her the medicine. They prepped her for surgery. They ended up having something that was unsanitary and not sterile, so they had to re-clean everything, because someone dropped the ball there. Very upsetting and frustrating, because, you know, here's the anesthesiologist just kind of being a jerk about it, saying, what's up with this? Why is she acting like this? Oh, that's the actual, let's just leave it on. Like, Destiny done something she wasn't supposed to. So me being me, and frustrated with the ignorance, because you can't take accountability for your sloppiness, that you all dropped the ball. So I sat there and said, with the most mean, mugging looking facial, my RBF face was on full course. You were not cracking no type of joke to make me smile. They tried it. It didn't work. Like, my RBF, if you've seen it, it's hella strong. They got full potential of it. They had the full experience of it. So I sat there and said, no, actually, this is what happens when my daughter doesn't eat. I said, now we're going to have to worry about her having a seizure. And I said the same thing that I told the nurses at the front desk. Well, we had another patient. I said, yep, she was supposed to be in at 9:30. Then 11:30. I said, it's now 12:30 and she still is not in. I'm beyond that at this point, but I'm being nice about it, because my baby needs a surgery. But I'm not going to tolerate you being that sloppy and that damn ridiculous. Like, you put off someone's health and safety because of a person's age. Then you gave nothing to accommodate the person medically so they wouldn't have a seizure while there was a needle in her damn arm. Not every experience is like this, but this is the experience I got. So take notes as to what you need to do. So whatever your loved one's triggers and sensitivity is that can make their whole experience from a healthy, positive experience to go 360 real quick, take notes, tell every doctor, make sure they know, because the day of surgery, they're not gonna have nothing written down. They don't even bother saying nothing. Oh yes, I remember you saying that. Sorry, we forgot. Sorry, don't help it, because if that would have gone south real quick and you didn't give her medicine, that would have been a huge lawsuit. Because imagine being cut open and you're having a seizure because you starved the person, made them wait too long. So here's Destiny just so, and her body language so very concerning, because how she was responding to things, like so disoriented, like she couldn't even make sentences. So they had to inject her with medicine because I was nicely nasty about their sloppiness. Then they're like, oh, so what signs do we look for when she's about to have a seizure? I'm like, and I cannot reenact my RBF face. Or when someone says something stupid, when they already know the answer, and I'm just mad as hell, I can't reenact those looks. Those are all natural looks when someone says something stupid. That's stupid to me, because you were told. You put that in someone's medical file, especially for surgery. Because we've said this. I've said this blue in my tongue, blue in the face. I say this. Even said it. Oh, there is none. We found out the hard way at Albany Med. Nothing goes off before she has a seizure. Nothing drops, nothing skyrockets. It all stays the same. When she's having the actual seizure and seizing up and shaking, I said, then and only then does everything go off and alert. So that was our experience. Take notes. That's why I say, whatever is your loved one's triggers, sensitivity, what their body can't handle, please address that. The second they start doing the weight, peeing in the cup, you need to address that to them, the next nurse, the representative, like you need to address that. So for Destiny, the major safety issue was her not eating. Yes, she took her medicine, but the reason why we're doing this, we did the procedure, is because the medication is not working. It's not. It doesn't even, her breakthrough seizures are the scariest, because those are her life-threatening ones that she tends to have, the breakthrough ones. So now the wire goes on the left side of the neck on the vagus nerve to control the seizures. Now, I don't know if Destiny named this cute little bear. This is what the doctor gave Destiny during the pre-surgery meeting. This right here is a thing that's inserted to the left side, right here. I think it's maybe more like right here. So everything is sore on Destiny. I'm so glad I listened to the surgeon, because if I would have listened to the neurologist and sent Destiny to school, that'd be a jerk thing to do. Not exactly positive parenting, or a caring parent at that. And I'm like, no, she stayed home resting, relaxing, because I can't imagine being sliced open not once but twice. And you want my child in pain at school and she has seizures. No, thank you. Not happening. So that's there. I do have 2 magnets. One is a bracelet. I put the piece around Destiny's arm with the magnet attached. So that's on Destiny's actual wrist. I have another one that attaches to a belt loop. Probably more likely put it on mine. I know I do have to call the surgeon, speak to her surgery coordinator, because they did not give Destiny a school note. They did not give Destiny a note from PE, because Destiny will not be in school till Tuesday of next week. Destiny cannot attend PE for a while. Destiny's activities are extremely limited. So the 23rd, Destiny goes back to get cleared and it's a follow-up to see how she's healing. So Destiny can't take a shower for I think a day or two. I know she's still, I think 2-3 days. It's like a special type of cleaning process. She definitely can't soak into the bathtub, I think for 3 or 4 days, but that's all good. Here is your bear, honey. Mm-hmm. You're welcome. And then the 24th, she sees her neurologist, where he will adjust the VNS that's inside her. Well, the magnet. It's going to be a higher dosage. So the representative said, since Destiny's meeting with her neurologist the 24th, that the 19th, I take this magnet. I'll show you it right now. I'm glad I'm holding this in my left hand, because I'm a righty. Oh, that's looped. Okay. I'm a righty, but since the accident, my right hand has not been working the greatest. Let me just turn on the light, because I know I have, some people, might have vision problems, because, whatever. And not like I'm in a well-lit area. My little handsome is still sleeping. This is a magnet that hooks onto my belt loop. So I go like this, make an X over the thing. So this gets adjusted, the magnets. And if I want more magnets, which I will get, because I know school's going to need it at some point. However, I think what I'm going to do is just ask the neurologist to fax over the updated epilepsy plan for the school, and to send me one also. That way we have it on my physical self, just in case school doesn't get it. So the neurologist is the person who does the updated epilepsy plan that school has to have, what to do, how to do it. It's very specific. And no, schools cannot go off of what the parent says. So make sure that's all addressed. Destiny might need accommodation for her book bag, so she might need assistance because schools nowadays, they don't have enough time to go into the locker. So it's not like Destiny could sit there, go into the locker, and take a lot of the load off where, out of her book bag. Like, I left her book bag. I'm like, damn, that feels a lot heavier than mine back in the day, which is crazy. So we're going to walk over to Destiny, where she's going to show you her bracelet. This one? Yep, just raise it up like that. Like this, baby. That's her bracelet. That's one of the incisions right there. The other one's like right here. Mm-hmm. Right there. Near the chest. Near the chest? So yeah, they have it literally on the left side of the chest, right here. So that's where that's at. So the day of surgery, no dairy. You can't have no dairy after midnight, no food after midnight. Drinks, you can have anything to drink except dairy to take your medicine. No. It's like my Whopper's dairy. No, your Whopper's fine. This is before surgery, honey. Oh, okay. You can eat whatever you want now, except for you can't drink citrus yet because it'll irritate your throat more because you're not fully healed. She could not drink no dairy to take her medicine. No red and purple Gatorade, but Destiny don't like Gatorade to begin with, so it's all good. And coming off anesthesia, we had to be careful because the food could make her nauseous, and we don't want her throwing up, all types of stuff. Because we had quite a bit of a car ride home. Oh yeah, nothing citrusy because it does irritate your throat. A few times, Destiny's coughing cleared her throat without, kind of against her own will, because it is actually on because they said they weren't going to turn it on, but they turned it on. The machine's on, and it's electrodes going through her body. So when it goes on, there's times where it's going to force her to cough and clear her throat. So she's going to have to get used to that and the process of it all. So the doctor made it clear, because she will be going to school Tuesday, that for 2 weeks it should be covered and kept covered. That way there's nothing gets in it. It does not get infected. And as we all know, school is one big germ pool. Kids coughing, sneezing, and how many kids of all ages actually cover their coughs and sneezes, especially adults. I see adults outside of school just sneezing without covering it, like, oh, biggest pet peeve. So yeah, I'm okay with covering that. I got the stuff and to cover it. Then that's it. It gets left alone. Doesn't need to be touched or played with at school. Destiny still does take her medicine. Within 5 years, we should see a huge decrease in seizures. And he's like, well, maybe she will have less in a year. I told the representative, I'm very lucky if Destiny goes a week without a seizure. If that's progress for us. Well, how many can she have in a week? I said, it depends. Sometimes she can have 1 a week. Sometimes she can have 5, 10 a week. That's Destiny. I said, so say if she has 30 seizures in a year, that's a lot less than what she was having. That's already a huge progress. Destiny's missed quite a bit. A lot of Destiny's missing days of school has to do with her epilepsy. 1 week, she was having it every other day, and I'm calling the neurologist. I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. Then when Destiny's emergency medication didn't work, that's when the VNS therapy came into place. So right now she's sore, trying to just, keep her comfortable as possible. Have her eat small meals because she might not be able to handle eating a regular sized meal. But the pros of this is it's supposed to help. There's been signs of and statistics showing people that it's boosts their mood. So they went from sad and depressed, which Destiny has been due to her seizures, to happy, positive, not depressed. That's a huge plus. It will help with her memory, a huge plus. It should reduce her medicine over the year and years to come. Again, another huge plus because she's at the max dose. I would like for her to be on the lowest dose possible. I would like for the medicine to not hurt her stomach. And this should also help her with her eating. If the medicine is lessened and everything else, her normal appetite should come back. She's not allowed to lose any more weight. The neurologist said so, and not just the neurologist, but her physician said the same thing. So we got to help her gain weight. Like I said, she eats 3 meals. And I said, the snack is usually her choice. I said, I also do give her the those little protein nutrition shakes. That's also made a huge increase because Destiny used to weigh 120 pounds, had all this nice healthy meat. Then me and him noticed throughout the years, she's lost a lot of weight all over her body. And it's so sad to see because she struggles to eat, and Destiny loves food. So as Destiny's nervous about this, I was too. I'm like, honey, this is getting your life back. So here's to Destiny taking her life back. She gets to live a nice, long, happy, healthy life. And this is going to help her in so many ways because Destiny, since the epilepsy, her memory was not the greatest. And even fun memories that she's made with her sisters, that we've had as a family, past teachers and school events, she don't remember. So, and I noticed in September and October, when we started the school district that we're in, I'm like, hey, Destiny, honey, how was school? Because I'd always ask the girls how their day went and how school is. Well, it's a car ride, us eating dinner. I've always asked that. Destiny's like, I don't know. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know, honey? You were there, weren't you? she's like, yeah, Mom, I'm there. And then seeing how Destiny's really struggling to remember, I'm like, damn, it's starting to affect her memory now. And then I bring it up to her neurologist, the one that my friend Kelly suggested. Thank you so much for that. Because, man, the one in Poughkeepsie was trash. And he did not care for Destiny's well-being. Because he's a doctor, he knows it. And if your neurologist sits there and says, this, and this is the typical signs of a person about to have a seizure. This, and this is a typical trigger. Get rid of that neurologist. That was Destiny's first doctor, Dr. Castaneda. There is no set anything. There is no textbook to say what a typical trigger is for a person with epilepsy. And anyone who's dealt with epilepsy is going to say that. Because, and here's why. Each person is different in their triggers and what triggers their epilepsy. Some people, it was smell. Destiny, it's everything. It's her going to school and living a normal life. And when I told the representative, I said, in order for her medicine to work, I said, Destiny can't do nothing. She just has to sit still and really not do nothing. I said, how is that fair? Because she's seeing everyone else live their life. I said, in order for her to have fun and do fun, anything fun, we have to prepare a day to 2 weeks in advance to prepare her body. So she wants to do something fun, prom, big event. It was having her relaxed as possible. And, you know, it just so happens it's within the week or to 2 week frame of her surgery date. So making sure she was relaxed and ready for prom. That's why I was thankful and grateful Destiny Friday did not have a seizure, because that was my biggest worry. And also she would have had to take medicine. That would have screwed up her surgery process, because here's another thing you cannot take. When you're about to do the VNS therapy, you cannot take Advil or ibuprofen, any of that, because you can't take it 2 weeks before your surgery, because those are considered blood thinners and you don't want that. So I made sure on the safe side not to give Destiny nothing, no Tylenol, no ibuprofen, no Aleve, no Advil, none of that. So I made sure she was relaxed as possible. Me and Lily picking up the slack, and Lily, I love her to pieces because she's the youngest out of my daughters. Then there's my 1-year-old son. So Lily is here dealing with the stuff that we're dealing with at home, but also trying to live her life and like socialize and hang out with her friends, picking up the slack so her big sister can go for this surgery and take back her life. So, you know, I'm ready for this journey. I don't care who this is going to irritate. And I'm going to mark down, even if it's 1 week, no seizure. Now, here, if it's gone 8 days with no seizure, I'm going to mark that down on a calendar, because usually 6 days seizure-free, 7th day a seizure. Now, with this change, with the surgery, yes, I've been like confusing. I'm trying to make sure I say surgery and not seizure. So with the surgery Destiny had done yesterday, I'm already expecting on the safe side, because Destiny's body is sensitive, because me and the representative talked about it. If she were to have a seizure, do not give her the Valtoco. The Valtoco it's good for one use. So like, in order for it to work, you have to give it to her every time she has a seizure. And with that being a controlled substance, it only works once, and you only give it twice. No, thank you. Not happening. It even comes with instructions right here. And in different languages too, which I'm grateful for, because people all over the world need it. I will take this right here, and I will use that before the Valtoco. So, the 19th, I'm so sorry, the 19th of this month, it gets used once. Then the 20th. Is that right? Whatever the weekend falls on. Because the 24th, 24th is Tuesday, 23rd is Monday, 22nd. Yeah, I can see why he would say the 19th and 20th, because maybe give it rest, because the 24th is going to get adjusted, and the magnets get adjusted. The thing does not come out the skin, that stays there. Your neurologist adjusts these right here, at his or her office, at their office. And that will be the new voltage, wattage, whatever we're using for the electrodes. That is the new setting of the electrodes that will be going through her body. I asked her if she could hear it. She, no. So you can't hear nothing going off. So that's a good thing. And Destiny clearing her throat will be, and that's something she'll be doing against her own will, because it's forcing her body to clear her throat. So I don't know if that's going to be like quite a bit throughout a setting, because when that goes off, that means something spiked or increased, and it's going off to control that. Now, Destiny's EEGs is abnormal, but her MRIs are fine. Nothing showed up in her blood. And I would love to someone find out why, without hurting my daughter and doing weird experiments on her, to find out in a healthy manner, in a safe manner, what absolutely caused this. It was not the COVID vaccination. She got the COVID vaccination after the seizure started. So I don't know, but I'd love to find out. I don't think anyone's seen if it was like inherited through DNA. We don't know. That's all we got. So we don't know. But here's to taking Destiny's life back. And why am I doing it instead of her? She can't remember. So if you have a loved one where the epilepsy, and that's common actually for them not to remember. Some people, after a while, remembers. They remember what happened. They can tell what happened. They can hear. Destiny in 4 years still doesn't hear nothing, doesn't remember nothing, and that's not her fault. That's the epilepsy. So when you have a person like that, you're going to have to be that person's eyes and ears and voice, because Destiny's epilepsy had given her a fractured foot. It was the last school year. So the 2023-2024 school season, when she was at Cairo, Durham, for the month of April and a little bit of May, month of April and half of May, Destiny had a fractured foot because of her epilepsy. Destiny had her tooth put in not once but twice through her lip because of her epilepsy. Destiny had chipped her adult tooth due to her epilepsy. So now that she's an adult, we get to find a dentist that gets to fix that beautiful smile. So if you know a dentist that's going to be caring, not like that BS quack job that's there in Catskill at the Medical Arts Building that sat there and said, well, she's going to have seizures. I don't see why I fix it. Because my daughter deserves to have a beautiful smile. That's why, you jerk. I hope you poop your pants, runny, sticky, diarrhea in the same shot, in front of your date, and everyone sees it. I think you're a jerk, and people like you are just evil. You'll truly, karma will work its way out with you. From one Asian to another, you're disgusting. You get no pass. You don't. Because I've seen a lot of Asians been super caring, understanding, and compassionate. Serious tone and all. You were just a downright evil jerk. And that's putting it nicely. So Desi can eat anything, small meals, because, with it, like, irritating her throat, we don't want to push it. She really can't be lifting stuff, running, none of that for a while. I think 4 weeks she can be in a pool. Like, a pool only with water, with the actual chlorine in the right setting, yada, yada, levels. Was it 6? I know, come July, like 4th of July, you'll be in the clear to be in a pool. However, the 23rd, you see of this month, you go for your follow-up with the surgeon, so we can then ask her again, because the pool's not up anyways. I'm going to get that up. Destiny cannot be at a beach, not even just to sit and chill, because you don't want to get any of that open, dirty, with the scar, because she got cut open, had 2 things put in. So on the left side here, it's like right here, so the left side of the neck, that's where the wire gets put in. That wire that's on the vagus nerve gets connected to the VNS therapy machine. That's right here on her chest. So that's how that is set up. Those are my reasons why. And if you have a loved one, and it was talked about driving. Now, New York state law, if you have seizures, you have to be so many years seizure-free. Destiny can't drive. Destiny's been so worried about college. Now, my college plan is this for her. I'll take her to college. I'll drive her. I'll pick her up. She's going to college. Her being a cook and being in the kitchen and baking, that's a cute idea. It's a beautiful idea. I'm not going to knock it. Who am I to knock it? Cooking and baking is relaxing for some. But for a person with epilepsy like her, that's not in her best interest. It's not. Because if she were to have a seizure, a lot could go wrong real quick. And it makes sense for her to go to college, because why the heck not? My oldest daughter, Mia, did it. Destiny's going to do it. Alexis is going to do it. Lily's going to do it. They're going to walk across that stage. Whatever field they want, I'm going to support it fully. So I told Destiny, she don't have to live out of state. She don't have to live in a different county. She could still live here at home. I could take her. Because there's a lot of questions. Well, what if this? What if that? Like, what if no one's there to help her? Then you can stay here. You don't have to leave. I'll take you to and from there. And the beautiful thing about schools nowadays, since it's in colleges, since it's not like the 1800s, they accommodate those with special needs and disabilities because they have to. Good thing like the ADA, the American Disabilities Act, not the Assistant District Attorney. The American Disability Act, folks. That's my little laughter through it all. If you know, you know. And if you've been on the horrible side of it where you had to speak for a whole victims thing, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I've been there. That sucks. So they accommodate that. Another good thing is a person with a disability, a legal disability documented, let me correct that. Any employer hiring a person with a legal disability that is documented to the state, that's a tax write-off. If you don't know, now you know, but it has to be legally documented. There has to be some type of legal paperwork for that. So if you're a business owner, look into it. I know there's plenty of people with special needs that love to work. Just think about it. Some can only work part-time. Give it a shot, especially if you're looking for a tax break. You're helping a person with a tax, and you're getting tax break at the end of the year. Because New York State darn sure don't be doing much of those. Let's get it right. We pay, we're not going to say what we pay for everything for, except, because that's going to be in our next tax, and I'm not going to be the face of that one. So we're going to keep that thought to ourselves. If we've had this conversation, you already know what that answer is. So next on the agenda is getting my foot checked out, because that is right, my you're going to laugh at me. And I know who's going to laugh at me for saying this. And when that person, and I'm going to say when that person does it, So I call it my ring finger toe. That's me is laughing. My left ring finger toe, like my ring toe. You know, like the one. I call it my ring finger toe. Lily calls, you know, the one next to the pinky toe. So the one that's next to the pinky toe, that is red and swollen. And it hurts to walk. So good thing is I don't use that for braking or gassing because I'm not in a standard. Pros of an automatic. Yeah, why did Amore chew that? No, that wasn't Amore. Ooh, okay. So yes, that's next on my agenda. I got schoolwork to do. That's due today. That's like an hour-long plus project. Yay, we're so excited. Not really. Because my professor put that, it was due in 2005. I wasn't a student at 2005. So when I do this, I'm ready to get a low grade and I'm not happy about it. However, it's going to get straightened out because one or two of the advisors said something about it to the dean. So thankful for that. So I'm going to make sure I have to do that today. Hoping to get some yard work done. Yeah. Then that's pretty much that. So I'm going to clear some of my photos and screenshots and funny memes and videos that I have on my phone. I'm going to clear that out. And I'm going to download this video, put it on YouTube, and do the journey recovering and the journey process of Destiny having the VNS therapy. So here is the Destiny claiming her life back. And yes, I said it, my ring finger toe. I'm owning that. I said that.